Agnostic AA 101 by Ed W. Before we even decide on what to call ourselves, agnostic, secular, waft, no prayer, etc., we should also agree upon what exactly makes an AA group or meeting one of ours. And yes, we should agree on a name, too. First, a quote by Malcolm X. We want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand. End quote. Hi, my name is Ed, and I'm an alcoholic. To the other sober alcoholics reading this, my story is probably much like any other drunk's at its core. Rather than open with a drunkalogue, I will simply state that I have over 2 years fully clean and sober and helped start an agnostic AA group that many people have told me has the best AA group name ever. As the WAFT International AA Convention nears, by the way, WAFT stands for We Agnostics, Atheists, and Free Thinkers. There's a lot of talk about what secular AA is and isn't about, reflecting minor differences of opinions amongst us like-minded drunks. There have been many articles and posts that have explored this topic. Today, I just want to focus on what actually makes an AA meeting agnostic, the baseline format that I believe most WAFT meetings already embody. This may seem obvious to members like myself who attend regularly, yet this may not be so for newcomers, traditional AAs, or those still suffering. These folks may want or need to know more about what we are. None of the criteria I put forward is meant to supersede or subvert AA's primary purpose, to carry its message, etc. We are still AA, and we adhere to many, if not all, of the 12 traditions. We just have a slightly different format that arguably makes it more feasible to carry that message to drunks who stay away from AA for reasons of belief or conscience. I use the terms agnostic, secular, free-thinking, etc. interchangeably here. I will close with my suggestion for the umbrella term we should use going forward, plus the standard disclaimer. I do not speak for AA. My opinions are mine alone. Chapter: The 3 Criteria. These are the 3 criteria that I believe, through experience and observation, make up the sine qua non of a free thinkers AA group. 1. A tradition of free expression. Many agnostic groups begin most meetings with this statement that is read usually before or after the AA preamble. This group of AA attempts to maintain a tradition of free expression and conduct a meeting where alcoholics may feel free to express any doubts or disbeliefs they may have and to share their own personal form of spiritual experience, their search for it, or their rejection of it. We do not endorse nor oppose any form of religion or atheism. Our only wish is to assure suffering alcoholics that they can find sobriety in AA without having to accept anyone else's beliefs or having to deny their own. Source: Agnostic AA, New York City. Some call this the agnostic preamble. I prefer to call it the mission statement or sub-preamble to avoid confusion. It expresses what I believe to be already an unwritten rule in any AA meeting. You can say whatever the heck you want. However, this rule is enforced as best as any unwritten rule. Many meetings do, but just as many don't. What you say at a regular AA meeting could draw the ire of the Unsolicited Advice Brigade, the UAB, that secret society within AA who likes to dictate to you how you should run your program according to their standards. You may get out of the meeting alive, but be prepared to run the gauntlet of pointing fingers afterwards, or worse, the cold shoulder, for espousing certain ideas or beliefs. Thus, our sub-preamble effectively codifies this rule, putting everyone on notice that the meeting is a completely safe space to share about anything and everything: God, not God, steps, no steps, traditions, drugs, psychology, resentments, other groups, even AA itself. The list goes on. So long as there is no crosstalk or disruptive behavior involved, no topic is taboo or off limits. The tradition of free expression is also there for any believers in our rooms. I know a few people who have God or a higher power in their program, yet they also prefer agnostic meetings. For them, God may not be the problem. Their doubts or disbeliefs in AA may lie with their overbearing sponsors, run-in with UAB, Bill Wilson's arguably chauvinistic prose, and overuse of slogans, groups that close only with the Lord's Prayer, etc. They delight in the freedom of thought and open-mindedness we engender. For whatever reasons, alcoholics find WAFT meetings. This tradition helps welcome them all. It's AA in its freest form. 2. A de-emphasis on traditional God-based AA literature. I'm guessing that God, as we understood him, was the most forward-thinking the language could be in 1939. Since then, fellows like Jim B. and others have been helping widen that gateway further. However, even if attitudes evolve, it is unlikely the literature will change anytime soon. Between the Big Book and the 12 and 12 combined, the word God appears 298 times. Higher power pops up 23 times. Between the We Agnostics chapter and the suggested prayers throughout, the prose and spirit of this literature just doesn't resonate with or help many of us. So, we keep all that on the shelf. You won't find many agnostic big book or step meetings out there. The best conference-approved option we have is Living Sober, which seems to be the de facto literature of choice at secular meetings. It is important to note that we respect any alcoholic or group who wants to use the Big Book and the 12 and 12 in their recovery. For many of us, it's just not our cup of tea. The stories we share in the meetings themselves is what keeps many of us sober. I won't address whether outside, alternative, and/or non-conference approved literature has any place in an AA meeting, and that is a whole topic unto itself. 3. No prayers during the meeting. Most importantly, so that all may feel comfortable, regardless of one's faith, conscience, belief, or lack of any of these, our groups do not open or close our meetings with a group prayer. Not the Lord's Prayer, not the Serenity Prayer, not any prayer at all. If our meetings close with any sort of individual or group invocation, we usually read the AA Responsibility Declaration. I am responsible when anyone, anywhere, reaches out for help. I want the hand of AA always to be there, and for that, I am responsible. Adopted in 1965 at the 30th International AA Convention in Toronto, this invocation has the distinction that neither the Lord's Prayer nor the Serenity Prayer can claim. It was written by AA for AA. Many groups also join hands at the end and recite the AA slogan, "Live and let live." Together, these statements remind us that we are here to help others as well as ourselves. They evoke the essence of love and service in our fellowship. Some meetings have no closing statement or invocation whatsoever, and that's okay too. These criteria are not a strict syllabus dictating how any secular group should format their meetings. Like all decisions, that is up to each group's conscience. What I've written here is just a suggestion. If you are interested in starting a WAFT-style meeting in your neck of the woods, check out this agnostic meeting script library at agnosticaanyc.org. Chapter: The Name for It All. So, what's my suggestion for an ultimate name for this format, this approach to recovery, and these AA groups and meetings? No Prayer AA. Even though they may have become AA terms of art in their own right, the terms agnostic, atheist, humanists, freethinker, etc., still connote a focus on the particular identities and beliefs of the attendees. What about Buddhists, Wiccans, New Agers, and open-minded believers in God who like our style of recovery? Will we need to amend the WAFT moniker to WAAFTBWNAOMB one day? Clearly not. But then, how does our name reflect that we are inclusive to all alcoholics? The term no prayer puts the focus on our format, not on us. It's not about so much about who we are, it's about what we do at our meetings. I am also mindful that no prayer defines us more as what we are not doing at meetings rather than what we are doing. I originally thought these should be called free expression / no prayer meetings, but that's too long. In essence, what we are doing is no different from the rest of AA, getting sober. It's just a question of how. The no prayer format is a clear, concise answer to that question. It's something we can all agree upon, that we don't engage in group prayer at our meetings. So let's agree upon it as our overall moniker. Finally, the long-form third tradition states, any 2 or 3 alcoholics gathered together for sobriety may call themselves an AA group, provided that, as a group, they have no other affiliation. Identifying ourselves as agnostic, secular, etc., could be construed as identifying with our beliefs as separate affiliations outside of AA. Whether or not this is actually the case, or a violation of any tradition, is less important than the optics it presents. If we have learned anything from the Toronto situation, it is that a perceived controversy can become a real controversy, especially in the eyes of our fellow alcoholics. No prayer is an intellectually honest, wholly inclusive, and politically expedient description of our fledgling tribe of drunks and our approach to recovery. I am grateful to the No Prayer Group and AA as a whole for helping me stay sober and be of service to others. Thank you for reading my share. Keep coming back. About the author, Ed W. Ed regularly attends This Ungodly Hour in Brooklyn, New York. He kindly suggests you drop by if you're ever up really late on a Friday night in Williamsburg and looking for a meeting. Carl G. contributed to this article. The original print version of this article, Agnostic AA 101 by Ed W., can be found on the website aabeyondbelief.com in the Language of Recovery section, dated September 18, 2016. This audio presentation was produced on January 5th, 2000